We all know why we're here. So let me ask you a question then. Why the big secret? Truth seekers, but really the true leaders. Keep it grooving, the movement like two-seaters. Turn it up, we knocking through both speakers. It's time we get the truth from the big secret keepers. Hey, truth seekers, but really the true leaders. Keep it grooving, the movement like two-seaters. Turn it up, we knocking through both speakers. It's time we get the truth from the big secret keepers. Hey, break it down, now can you peep it? They're deceiving all the people. Let me ask you, what's the secret? Misinformation and lies, a devious disguise. They want the EMF blast until our brains is fried. Oh, point their beams in the sky, oh it's a movie now. This world is all CGI, their plot is truly foul. But we're here to rise up and bring the real. Time is now, truth seekers, y'all know how I feel. Truth seekers, but really the true leaders. Keep it grooving, the movement like two-seaters. Turn it up, we're knocking through both speakers. It's time we get the truth from the big secret keepers. Hey, truth seekers, but really the true leaders. Keep it grooving, the movement like two-seaters. Turn it up, we knocking through both speakers. It's time we get the truth from the big secret keepers. Hey, why the big secret?
All right, truth seekers, this is the day I think we all been waiting for. We have one of the great ones here today, and we're going to be talking about something I think we all should be knowing. What's the big secret when it comes down to the Bitcoin? Because it's all about the money these days, and when we talking about the money, you want to know where to put your money and where the money is going, who got the money, who's spending the money, how the money is going. I don't know, but I know today we all been hearing about this Bitcoin, and I know we probably saying, Roderick, that's a little different than the UFOs, but sometimes Bitcoin can feel like a UFO to a lot of us. And so I have somebody here tonight that we're going to be talking about this, but he's not away from the UFO topic. You're going to be really impressed with the resume that we're going to have today with Darcy, and so I cannot wait. But in the meantime, I just want you to know, put the children to bed because we get ready to have a great conversation. And yeah, I know, go ahead and get the dinner ready, get the biscuits, get everything you want to do for your husband and everybody else or wife, because we got a lot to talk about tonight. And as I will tell you, you know well as I am, I'm in the jumbo state. That's where those UFOs come out to play. And it is a Texas thing, y'all. So right now, I bid you good evening, good afternoon, good morning, and wherever you may be. You could have been anywhere else, but you chose to be right here, right now. And with that being said, we're going to serve you. And how we're going to do that is simply by being the boldest, baffling, belligerent YouTube channel, creating critical commentary, creating captivating conversations that'll certainly cause controversy. Yep, I rehearsed that. I really did. So, all right, I'm excited, man, because it is a little bit over to the left and right, but it is right here where we are because we covered all those big why questions. So, without being said, let me get the recording going. If you're listening to us in Clubhouse, welcome, welcome, welcome. And so, let's get ready. I see we got our people coming in tonight. Let's do that. All right, so with that being said, y'all know we got a lot to talk about tonight. Y'all make sure y'all go ahead and hit that and smash the like button because we need that YouTube algorithm to do what it does. and that is to show the videos. That's what we want to do. So I'm gonna give a shout out to everybody who's here in just a few moments. So make sure you say hello in the chat room today. We definitely want to make sure we share this video. I see as we get more people coming in. If you're listening to Clubhouse, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are live streaming from YouTube. So both of us, me and the person that you're going to be hearing about, Darcy Weir, we both got a face for TV. So you might want to just come over and hit the link and come into the YouTube channel so we can kind of do that. And I'll be bringing him up in just a few seconds. And I mean seconds, you can count on your clock, start TikToking, whatever, countdown or whatever, but don't make your math as accurate as mine because I am on the time. I am the producer of this show, but he's a film producer. He actually does bigger things. And so we'll bring him up in a minute. So I hope you guys are ready for some why the big secret when it comes down to what's happening with this Bitcoin. And if you got some and you know somebody who got some, y'all might want to share this video, get them on here today. So we got a lot to talk about. So in the meantime, I'm going to bring Darcy up with us. I'll give you a little introduction. We're going to talk about a lot of things today. We're going to talk about his new film, but in the meantime, we'll cover a couple of more things so you know what he's doing. So without further ado, let me get him up on the screen with us here. As I said, he has a face for TV, just like, we both got the beard thing. We got a little color scheme going on though.
I'm a bit more albino, but yeah.
It's all right, but we'll make it all work together. Welcome, man, to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Glad to be here. I gotta say that opening track for your show, it's a banger, Rod. You got some production quality here, man. You got some high production value. I really like it.
We're really trying. I got a few things we're working out and just pretty much, but I'm glad that you like it because you know what? You are a film producer. And if you like it,
yeah,
I damn like it. Okay. So that's
I love it.
All right. So, all right, I'm gonna get into, I'll tell everybody about you in just a few seconds. But I got to give a shout out to the people who are already here and they're already in the chat. And he will be open for some questions tonight. I want y'all to know. So first of all, Nick, I want to welcome Nick Larkin. And Nick is our, and one of the things, Darcy, I'm going to give a shout out to him. Nick is a former Navy intelligence officer. Okay. So he will be a good contact for some of your films. And guys, I'm gonna put up real quick some of these films he's done. He's done Men in Black, The Secret Space, The Humanoids, The Sasquatch, and I know we talking about Bitcoin, but we got a lot of stuff we can bring him back for. But yeah, Nick Larkin, he's always been a great researcher and things, and been really supportive to the channel. But again, he is an official, Navy intelligence officer. So. That just may be hint. Okay, so Dr. Karras is here with us. We have Sonia News. We have Carmen, welcome. Renee, welcome. Margaret, welcome. Son, welcome. Jay Muhammad, welcome. Steph, welcome. Black Aquaman, welcome. Girlfriend of Bay, welcome. We have Stephanie Ecall. I'm sorry if I butchered that name. JJ is here with us as well. And we got Margaret is here with us as well. And we got a few others. So if I miss you, charge it to the head and not the heart. Okay, because y'all know I love every last one of you, and we can do that. So, Darcy, a few of them saying how they're speaking to you right now, so I can put that on the screen in just a second.
I see it. Girl from the Bay.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you too.
All right.
To meet you too. A pleasure.
All right, and y'all know, Darcy, I usually do this thing, and I'm not doing it tonight, but I usually do this would you rather, and then I do these impossible questions. And I have been, really working with the audience with it, but it's intended for the guests pretty soon and give you some impossible questions. And then if you need a lifeline from the audience, they will really jump in with a super chat to help you. So
hi, Sonia.
Yeah, but today we skipping all that today, and so that's rightfully so. So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about who we have here today, so you can get a little bit of background, and so that you know the magnitude. I call it magnitude because this guy is. Man, I can't even really explain it when you look at all of his work. But anyway, he is a filmmaker, as you should know. I'll put that in the title for you all. But he's also completed over 10 feature-length documentaries. All of these can be found on Fox Tubi. So that means no excuses. No me talking about how to get a whole new subscription and all that stuff. You can watch all of his stuff on Fox Tubi, and I'll put it back on the screen a little later so you know all of these things, and they all play into what we're doing. But he's actually recently completed this documentary we're going to be talking about now, the history of Bitcoin today. And of course, it is the Bitcoin Field Guide. And I think, for beginners and anyone else, this really opens up the eyeballs when it comes down to this Bitcoin. But then at the same time, too, it's more, why are we talking about it? Why the big secret? Because there are some things in there that I think we don't talk about. People don't tell you. They don't. And we're going to ask him, although he put this film together, why is it a big secret? Why people don't really know what's really happening with Bitcoin? And I'm not saying today it's going to cost you, but tomorrow, or maybe not, or it already has, or it could be the future. We're going to go through all that tonight. And so again, in this particular documentary, from Main Street to Wall Street, and we're going to be talking with, and you're not going to hear from them. You're going to hear from the man himself. But in there, it's industry professionals and where they're working with this crypto business. So, and there's some comedy. Y'all know I like comedy. I really do. And that's one of the things I set out for in this UFO space, and put up some comedy in it. And I got a video for you that I, with permission, got from the video itself. It is hilarious. When I tell you it's funny, had me rolling. But the whole documentary is great. So anyway, welcome Darcy Weir here, y'all, with us. And Darcy, appreciate you spending the time with us tonight.
Thank you for having me, Rod. Yeah, I'm
All
excited
right,
to be
so
here.
so we got a few people. Sonia is in here saying she's always been confused about how Bitcoin works. And so we will definitely give her an opportunity to do that. And I think the first question to start with anyone, Darcy, is what is Bitcoin?
Good question. So, Bitcoin is a couple of things. It's more than just a digital money. So, right now, we live in a digital age more than ever. Like, look at this show we're doing from around the world. We've got, communication happening at an incredible rate through video and audio, and we're interconnected like never before. With Bitcoin, it is a digital money, but it circumvents the need to use a third party like the banks, like the banking system. And for a while now, we've been hearing about Bitcoin. A lot of the mainstream news reports are negative about Bitcoin because, quite frankly, the banks own the mainstream news venues, right? Like,
Hmm.
let's talk Fox News, somewhat bank driven. You've got CNN, you've got CNBC. So it's kind of their job to protect the banks in some way. And Bitcoin was created in 2008 out of protest towards the standard banking system.
Right.
The great financial crisis happened in 2008. We had the subprime mortgage crisis. We had, just Lehman Brothers and all these insurance companies going bust. And what the government did in response to that is they printed a whole ton of money. We've seen them print money for COVID, but back then it was small compared to what we had in the past 2 years. They printed $750 million, and they gave that to the banks and said, hey, look, you guys can use this to bail yourselves out, keep people in jobs, keep them working through this recession, and use that money in the right way, to keep things afloat. So what do the banks do? They, instead of saving people like you and I, they laid
Pocket it.
off, huh?
They pocket it, but keep going. Yeah.
Yeah, they pocketed the cash and they fired swaths of people across their organizations instead of giving that money to them. And they paid their CEOs fat bonus checks at the end of that year. They gave them, in the tune of $20 million as a bonus. Like, incredibly selfish thing to do. So the original developers of Bitcoin created this new digital monetary system that you can transact person to person. So if I have a digital wallet, which I do, I have a MetaMask wallet, for example, which you can connect to your Chrome or your Brave browser or whatever. Once you have that digital wallet set up, that little digital app, you have a mnemonic phrase that's generated. You keep that backed up so you have the security keys to that wallet. I can set up a Bitcoin address in that wallet, and I can transact on the Bitcoin network with the Bitcoin money system. I can send my Bitcoin to your digital wallet, Rod. And that would be a faster transaction than what the banks are able to process, cheaper if you're dealing in pretty large sums, and you don't have to pay a fee to use that to complete that transaction. You don't have to pay a fee to the bank. So, for example, if I wanted to send $1 million worth of Bitcoin to you, all I need is your wallet address, and I send you the fraction or the full amount of Bitcoins to that wallet address. I pay a gas fee to the network, which right now they're actually reducing the gas fees with upgrades to the Bitcoin network,
Okay.
to make it super cheap. So when you buy a Bitcoin, essentially you're taking your fiat money and you're actually putting that into Bitcoin and holding that Bitcoin in a digital wallet that is your very own. And you're basically becoming your own bank. And you're transacting on this new banking system that doesn't have a greedy middleman that can corrupt or change or steal your money away from you. I mean,
Okay.
you look at um, what happened in countries like Venezuela
Mm-hmm.
or Sri Lanka now or Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
Their whole economies are crashing, and what happens to their dollar? Their dollar is crashing because it is a fiat dollar. It's a dollar that is backed by literally nothing. It's mostly backed by confidence, and that confidence is something we agree upon. So the bankers, the other banking countries out there say, hey, I think the US dollar is worth this much because they have a powerful military, they have a powerful economy, they have lots of oil, what have you. So people will transact with the US dollar because they think, hey, that's a stable fiat currency to use.
I
And
got a
it
question
is,
for you though,
yeah,
when you get a chance, but go ahead because you said something that really sparked it. But go ahead.
yeah. So fiat currency is not actually backed by gold or something that is of intrinsic value that we have a certain amount of. It's just a digital number and something that we agree upon the value to. And right now, the sort of you watched a bit of the documentary and you might start to understand that currency has gone through an evolution, right? We started off trading sheep and cows, and then that evolved to all kinds of types of money like trading shells in Egypt,
Right.
and we got cowrie shells, and then we got pieces of steel and other metals, and then that evolved to precious metals like gold and silver. The US dollar back in the 70s, what was at one point backed by gold, but the President Nixon at the time, was going through a crisis. Gold became destabilized internationally, and so they depegged the US dollar to gold. And what happened as a result was we went to this fiat money system. What we're talking about now with Bitcoin is a reset to a new financial system. And Bitcoin is worth so much because of the supply and demand.
I got a
So
question for you. If you can give me a
go
moment
for it.
right there. All
Go.
right. So, and I'm gonna speak from my perspective, and maybe some of the audience. And there's a lot of questions coming through.
Sure.
We will definitely be going through. All right, so let's go back to there's a lot of people who think Bitcoin and most of the cryptos are scams. Okay,
Sure.
and maybe because there's a lack of information, or there have been people that have lost their shirts, their backs, and everything based upon uh, most of these other coins. Bitcoin seem to be the one that's moving the needle up and down for the value of other coins. Okay,
Right.
all right. So my question is, just like we talk about fiat
Hmm.
money, which is eccentric, what's running the world right now.
Hmm.
And although we have this, and for example, I may have a dollar bill in my wallet. Now, from your documentary, I've learned that that dollar bill actually makes me the holder, where the bank actually owes me. It's like I'm the lender, I'm the lender, right? Because of that note that I'd have in my pocket. All right. So now from Bitcoin, which is based upon the value, why is my dollar not trading for $5 for my dollar? And well, I guess I can answer that if they can print unlimited supply of this stuff at will. So I guess now that I think about it, they just make it up. Tomorrow they're going to vote another trillion and turn on the presses. And okay, so now we got this coin that someone created out of retaliation. Sounds like right around 2008, 2009. No one knows who did it, but yet in your documentary there was one guy said, "Oh, I am the one." Now, if that's the case, he should have had his own island and spaceships and everything, because he would be worth gazillion, a new word of money. So let me get to a question. So that my thing is, in the documentary, it also gave a tone at sometimes of it's, people have been taken advantage of. Don't believe, like the dog money video, which I'm gonna show everybody, which got me cracking up. But then at the same time, what compelled you to create this documentary in such a way that Bitcoin is here to stay? Versus, we seeing it right now. All these people losing money. Bitcoin is dropping, and of course, it's whatever is supply and demand. And when I first learned about it, I thought about it has to have a utility, right? We got to have something that. But now it seems like it's an investment strategy versus a utility. And also, I'm gonna talk to you about. I was doing some research, and a while back, even like the drug cartels start using ties. So it's like we can use rocks, anything we want to make a value, we can turn around and say it. So right now, this particular cup, as you and I said, it's going to be worth money, and this is the only way you can buy this video from me. All of a sudden, we make this a currency. All of a sudden, just almost like Bitcoin was made a currency. They were using liquid tide for drug money, and that was their way of. They just made it up and said we're going to make currency. So
Yep.
let's go there. I think I may have asked the question in there somewhere, but
You did.
yeah.
So, like, what compelled me and why Bitcoin is here to stay is
Hmm.
because it is something of value and it does have utility. So, the reason why the US dollar and other fiat currencies are crashing in value, people may not know that the US dollar is crashing in value, but what can you buy with $1? That's your answer right there. The value of the US dollar is depreciating by day, and it will continue to do that as we go into the future.
Can you give the audience a definition of fiat? Is coming up in the
Yeah.
chat.
So fiat currency is a currency that is usually backed by a company's gross domestic product, GDP, as well as an interpreted value for that country's power and economic worth. And, um, you know, countries like Sri Lanka, their dollars trash. Countries like Argentina, their dollar is trash. And there's so many other countries that are going through this fiat currency crisis right now because their country's economic worth is going into the gutter. The U.S. dollar is the inflation we're experiencing right now is part of that depreciation of the U.S. dollar.
Mm.
People are thinking it's all inflation, but when you print fiat dollars, which are this intangible dollar that's not backed by something intrinsic. Back in the day, notes were created by the banks, which are paper money now,
Mm-hmm.
to represent the amount of gold you had in the bank. So you would give the bank your gold. They would give security and keep it for you, hopefully not get robbed. The Wild West was prone to that. And they would give you promissory notes that said you had this much value in dollars in the bank because of that gold you held with them. Now, we don't use dollars that are backed by gold anymore. We just use fiat currency. That's what the countries run on now. And we're going through a crisis economically with fiat currencies as we go into the future. The US dollar will be the stronger one overall internationally. If you look at the euro right now, it's actually less than the US dollar. So that gives you an idea of how the EU is looking. People are really unsure about what the power of the economy of Europe is right now. If you didn't really look into that, you should. The US dollar is always going to be a bit more valuable than other fiat currencies, but long term, cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin will be worth more than everything else. And it's backed by supply and demand. So Bitcoin, its value is hovering around $23,000 right now. We crashed at one point to around $17,000. And this is not the very first Bitcoin crash or correction that we've been through in its history. When I first started making this documentary, it was 2018. It was post 2017 when each Bitcoin ran up to around $19,000 per coin USD.
I
Then
remember
it,
when it was $1,200. I remember when it was 800, 600, and we were just laughing like, "Oh man!" And I had a couple of them then, and of course, when it hit like 1,100, I'm like, "Man, I paid 400 for them. I'm cashing out." Now I look back like, whew,
Yeah,
"Oh my
yeah.
god!"
And I mean, the crypto hippie guy that was featured in my documentary, that he was crypto mining. He was mining Ethereum and Zcash and these other um, altcoins in his apartment in Montreal. Um, he bought Bitcoin to begin with when it was around $1,500 per coin, and back then I didn't know anything about Bitcoin. This was like around 2017 or 2016 when he was asking me, should I buy this? And I was like, do not buy that. That sounds like a waste of money. But
Man,
here
I
we
know
are.
when it was 20, $50, I knew about because at that time gamers was using it. And
Yeah.
yeah, and my kids, we used to have to give them that Bitcoin to play other games, and nobody thought that this thing. And when you $20 got you a bunch of them, so whew, oh my
Yeah.
god,
Yeah, and the reason why it's so high in value now, it's around 23,000. It could correct to 20K again, but it could go up in the future much more than where it's ever been before. And the reason why is supply and demand. With Bitcoin on this new digital monetary system, there's only ever going to be about 18 million Bitcoin up for grabs. And 90% of that supply has been printed, minted is what they call it when they mine this crypto. And so we've only got 10% left. Uh, the there's some large bag holders, there's some minor bag holders, but it is usable as a digital money, as a digital currency, because it actually is divisible beyond the decimal point up to 9 places. So in the future, you don't have to use one whole Bitcoin. You can use 0.000008 Bitcoin to complete a transaction and buy something and buy a service. The idea of using Bitcoin is to not give the banks your money, not let them control your work. Because essentially, when we're producing the show or we go do a 9 to 5 job and we schlep around for some big company and we make money for them and they pay us a small amount of money, in the end, that money is going into a bank, a traditional banking system account. And what they do with that money typically is they go and invest it. They, use it for leverage and get more loans and do all these things that are sophisticated plays. And we, at the end of the year, we even pay them in banking fees anywhere between $1,200 to $1,500 per person. So, if you think about your traditional bank, they've got millions and millions of users. And so they're making tons of money in fees off of us every year. With Bitcoin, you're not paying those fees. And if they get this Lightning Network upgrade done on the Bitcoin network, like I said earlier, the transactions will be almost nearly instantaneous. I could send $1 million from here to Germany and I would pay a fraction of a cent, for that transfer. If you used a bank to send that money, it would take weeks possibly to complete. And on top of that, the bank on this side is going to take a cut, and the bank on that side in that country in Germany is going to take a cut.
But it also sounds like it's just a new system. Almost we're going to use in the UFO space. We use these words reset, right? So it sounds like that there is some type of reset, but all it is going to do is set up the same system. Now it may reorganize the players a little bit, reshuffle the deck. And we do know that most of the people who are rich now, and if you divide the money up equally, 90% of them will be rich again in 2 years. They just know how to get it. So it appears that it all right, it may make some new millionaires, some new people, but once those power people get their hands on it in the way that they want it to work, the same rich again. Because we may say what it costs to move $1 million and how much you save, but what about the average person who have $1 and it doesn't mean anything, and they can't even pay for the gas. The system may not even move the dollar because it's not worth it. The miners are not going to mine it. I would assume it wasted electricity. I don't know, but the whole
Yeah,
is what happens to the everyday person when it comes down to if we move toward this new uh,
money
digital economy.
system.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're not in it.
Well, that's why you asked me what was my motivation for making this documentary, and it was to
Mhm,
try and educate people properly that this change is coming. This new Web 3.0,
mhm.
it's coming, and a new financial system like Bitcoin is going to be supplanting the normal financial system because we're going to have a bit of a shakeup. We're going to have some instability in the world due to what's going on in Russia with Ukraine, possibly China entering the fray and going for Taiwan soon. That's going to be very destabilizing, and there's going to be countries that are going to be picking sides. um, i'm I'm throwing my money in with the United States. You guys are this is the
Oh yeah, 'cause
country.
you're in Canada, right?
Yeah, I'm usually in Canada.
Okay,
I'm down in Mexico right now, but yeah, like
okay.
Canada, the US, Mexico, we're family, right? So we got to have each other's backs. And Bitcoin is really an American invention. It's like if you
Yeah,
look
that
at
guy is Nakasakamosho or Sokomoka. That's a Japanese name. Satoshi
Satoshi Nakamoto.
Sakamoto. Yeah, y'all know what I'm talking about.
So
But
that
that
was
guy's way over there.
that was like a cipher, that was like
Made
a
up.
pseudonym, a made up name, but people believe that it was probably Hal Finney that created Bitcoin predominantly. Him and a few other developers helped. Hal Finney did this because he was an honest man. He didn't like to see what the banking systems were doing
Oh, so you
and
know
how
who actually created it?
people think it was Hal Finney. Yeah, and you can look this up. Hal Finney was a clever programmer, and he wanted to create this new
So he should be like worth
cryptocurrency.
billions and billions of dollars. And
Well,
he's the creator. Can he go back and add more to the pot? Just
no.
like they
So
do now.
he didn't award himself a huge, like, the thing is with crypto these days when they're launching cryptocurrency, the company that creates it or the developers usually award themselves a huge share of
Mm-hmm.
the supply that's out there. Hal Finney didn't do that, and he was terminally ill, so he launched it before he passed away. So the cool thing about Bitcoin is that it is an autonomously, democratically run system that does not have um, any monarch or technocrat at the top running the network. It runs itself, and
Like
it's an
AI, like AI.
um it was programmed to run a certain way, and it's going to run that way since the inception of its programming. It can't be changed, it can't be hacked. It is just a perfectly built computerized digital money system. So it doesn't have artificial intelligence, it just has programming, if that makes sense. It's like it has its 10 commandments, and those 10 commandments cannot be changed. They're set in stone.
So what? Why the big secret? What is the big secret when it comes down to Bitcoin that people should know? Not about, okay, yeah, we know it's going to go up because the bulls are going to drive it, or whoever it is, they're going to drive it up. But besides that, what would happen for people who's left out, who did not engage, you just from your personal opinion, um, what should they possibly expect? What's the big secret to this reset of the economy if someone decides not to get into it, or don't have enough information, don't even have the money? So it's no different. If somebody can't buy it today, they're not buying it tomorrow, no matter what the price do, if it keeps going up. So how does that help society in such a way? What was his intent? Or are we not doing what the intent he created it for? I may have so many questions there, but go ahead.
Well, like I said, the network is being upgraded constantly,
Mhm.
and there's new users coming, creating digital wallets and holding Bitcoin every single day. There's people migrating their fiat currency into this new cash system, this new digital money system, not
Mhm.
cash. Cash is trash. That's the big secret. Fiat currencies are destined to fail, and the US dollar will be used in the future, but it's going to take a lot more US dollars to buy something. Okay? We're seeing that now with inflation, but it's it's not really going to stop. It's going to continue. Things are going to continue to inflate. Uh, Bitcoin, the big secret there is this is a asset, this is a money system that you're better off using, in my opinion. This is not financial advice. People can educate themselves by watching the documentary, learning a bit about the whole crypto market, about Bitcoin, and about everything else that's out there, and how to get in. They can learn how to do that. So you don't have to worry about affording one whole Bitcoin. If you can't buy one whole Bitcoin, the strategy is every month you get paid by your employer. You put aside some of your fiat money towards the things that you need to pay for now, and putting food on the table, paying for your gas, what have you. But if you have a bit of extra left over, and you're done buying presents, or taking care of yourself, you have that little extra money, maybe invest in some Bitcoin. Because if you dollar cost average in, you buy small amounts as you go, you will eventually own one whole Bitcoin down the road. And there's no reason that Bitcoin will stay worth like $20,000 uh, now. It could go down. It could end up going to, let's say, 14,000 or 15,000. My opinion is that it's probably going to stop around there, if it even goes towards that price. It might range in the 20s and stay there, and then just keep going up from there. The thing is that you look at what happened, let's say, with Ukraine being invaded, and Russia's money system got attacked. The United States confiscated $600 billion worth of their US dollars. What did they do in retaliation? They implored their citizens and the government and their monarchs and all them, put their money into Bitcoin because it's unconfiscatable. It's a new money system that the governments, that the banks can't tamper with. And a lot of
Now, what not in your documentary, if my memory serves me, people think that Bitcoin initially is untrackable, untraceable,
Mhm.
but in the documentary, then they reveal that it's the opposite. So them putting money in there, it doesn't mean they can hide it, right?
Yeah,
So they may can
exactly.
hack the system, but they can hack the wallet if you have it in a vulnerable place. So, but they can still see the money, so they
Yeah,
can't hide.
yeah, so Bitcoin it operates on what's called an open ledger technology.
Mhm,
So everybody can see, think of a ledger like an Excel sheet. A lot
mhm,
of people have experimented with Microsoft Excel. It's just this ugly chart that has a bunch of columns and tables, and you can put numbers in there and manipulate it, right?
mhm,
Bitcoin, it has that open ledger, it has that chart technology built into it, but you can't manipulate it. You can't hack that. Those numbers are set in stone, and it's based on transactions and history that have happened from Bitcoin moving from one place to another, wallet to wallet, new minted coins that are happening every day, every month, every year as they're being minted to the network. So that ledger is constantly being updated, but it's being updated by the network itself, and it can't be hacked by us. It's just too well encrypted. It's
it's almost like the
256.
watchers watching the watchers. So you got all of these computers. There's 10 of them say you only have $1, and one of them says, "No, I got $1.20." The 10 overrides it. Nah, he only got $1 because I got
You
$1 on my ledger. You got $1 on your ledger. At some point,
Yeah, it can't, and so you could see the transactions on the network. We can't hack it. It's set in stone, and therefore it's more fair. It's not like corruptible. And on top of that, you look at the transactions, you can actually look at the history. You can see these large wallets, whale wallets, transferring large amounts of money in Bitcoin from place to place. So it is fully trackable. And one of the things, the biggest lies about Bitcoin when it first was gaining attention around the world, the bankers like Warren Buffett and stuff were saying, "Oh, that's just this new illegal tender system
yeah, yeah,
where
like the gold rush, just a fictitious thing. Don't, yeah,
yeah, don't pay attention to that, and that's just for people to remain anonymous and commit illicit activities. But the thing is, you really can't remain that anonymous on this open ledger technology because you can actually follow the money better than through the banking system. The only folks that can follow the money in the banking system are the bankers or the three-letter agencies that run these countries like CIA, FBI. They have the right to ask for the keys. But Bitcoin is an open ledger. It's open for people to view. And so it's more fair. And people have been lying about that since day one.
all right, so we're going to take a few questions from the audience in a little bit. And if anyone wants your question to stand out, support the channel, put that super chat on up and pop it on up. And in the meantime, I've seen a couple of questions. People will get into it on another segment about mining coins and what does that actually mean and everything else. But once again, I saw a few chats. But anyway, if you guys got a question, go ahead and stick it in here right now, and then we'll get to a few of them. It will be easy to catch criminals. So okay, so all right. So my thing is, and as we wait for, because there's a delay for them to chat. My thing is, Darcy, is number one. And I'm gonna put this on the screen real quick, and then we'll come back to it. These are a lot of other documentaries. You've done the space UFOs, space, secret space, UFOs, humanoids being taken, Sasquatch, crop circles, and the list. It's just interesting. And like I said, we will definitely I call this more of the introduction to everyone, but we got to have you back and we'll start talking about some of these other documentaries. But all of a sudden, you say, wait a minute, this Bitcoin field guide needs to be made. Now, again, you might have touched on it a little bit, but since what's happening out here now, you got all these other coins, and we're not just talking Bitcoin anymore. We're talking about it now, but there's like 10, they're coming up with stuff. Elon Musk are making stuff up, promoting it and getting in and get out. But although we're talking about digital currency, they put fiat currency in it, make money, but they're living off the fiat currency to live their lifestyles, to pay the bills, to go into the grocery stores. Even though it's almost like we got two dimensions going on here. You get into one, you playing in that, and then you come back over here to reality, so to speak, because the car. I mean, there was a time people were selling cars, and I remember Amazon. A lot of them at one point in time, somebody was in Amazon or Overstock. One of them was going to accept Bitcoin. When that thing started dropping, they was like, "Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa! Wait a minute, we can take $1 million in sales today, and tomorrow, although we're paying commissions out to these sellers." Tomorrow is worth $500,000. We're losing our shirts off. Oh yeah, okay. Like the guy, whatever his name is, the football player, Oda Beckham, when he went down to this last team he's with, the Chargers. Of course, technically, he told the world the smartest move: pay me my millions of dollars salary in Bitcoin. Now they're saying that millions of dollars is only worth 400,000 now.
Mhm.
Yeah. Now, okay, he got enough money on the fiat side to wait out the storm.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But an average Joe can't do that.
Yes.
You
So right
yeah,
now, I know what you're getting at.
yeah.
It's expensive, it's unstable. People are saying, you know, is it worth me buying some now? Will I lose my shirt tomorrow? All that jazz. Look, and yeah, there's the two dimensions. There's the fiat dimension and then there's the crypto dimension, right? And you're kind of living, which one do you want to live in, right?
Mhm.
Right now, the SEC is looking to regulate the crypto dimension. They're going to start to outlaw certain things and have better oversight of what's going on in that dimension. Um, when they do that, we're going to see some things clean up. Some of the riffraff will get shaken out, and eventually, you'll be able to live in this crypto dimension and work in this crypto dimension and get paid in this crypto dimension and keep your money in this crypto dimension, because really money is your time and labor put into some kind of value, right? So the reset is like, let's go use this dimension over the fiat dimension, is kind of what we're trying to, it's the premise of this documentary. And the fiat dimension, they're just printing money into infinity. So how is that asset scarce? It's not. It's like super
Well,
liquidated. You've got,
but it's like, and then we got a couple of questions that came up. Not to intervene, but
no worries.
you just said something that just popped in my head. If the SEC and the government is getting a hold to it, and fiat money is the funnel or the breath of it, because Bitcoin is not made out of thin air. You can't get it without fiat money. And they got an unlimited supply of fiat money. They can print it at will. So can they get into them if they're already in it, and all the big time people, the money
Hmm.
there? So the same thing applies. The rule is just the game is the same. The rules have changed, but the poor are still going to be poor, and the rich is going to still get richer. And then I have a couple of questions. So
Well, you're always going to have the bullies come play in the playground. You're always going to have the jerks come and throw their weight, and sometimes that gets worked out, and the masses end up still winning, when it comes to dealing with bullies. But the banking system is already making changes right now to allow people to hold custody of Bitcoin in their banks. They know this change is coming. They don't really want to fight it. And they know that the cash is trash. They know that the dollar is going down. So they actually are interested in preserving technologies like this because it's a way out for everybody. The whole idea is try to protect your value in any way you can. And if that means that you get in a little bit later than the rest, or even get in at the same time that some of these bankers or really wealthy folks are getting into it too, it's better than not getting in at all. You
All
want to
right.
have options.
Okay, so I got a great question, but we'll get to Margaret says that she had a couple of questions. I don't see all of them. I got to scroll back, but one of them she says about is let me scroll back down here. She said, "Don't you have to pay taxes on cryptocurrency?" I know
You
in the
do.
beginning you didn't, but Coinbase and a lot of them, yeah, they like, oh yeah, you got to report. They're now reporting it to the government, so you got to pay taxes on
So look, if you buy stocks, that is a security. It's essentially you're saying I'm owning a piece of this company that I think will be worth more in the future because
it.
the
Hmm.
perceived value of that company goes up, your stock value goes up, that security, and then you sell that security on the open market. And what happens is then you have a whole load of cash that you've made as a result of that sale. It's called the capital gain. And so anything you've made additionally to the original amount that you invested, the government has the right to tax you on that capital gain. They usually, in the United States, for Bitcoin or these other crypto assets that they're looking at regulating, they're going to tax you a capital gain tax, and that's usually 50% of your gain they're going to tax. Not the whole 100% of your gain, but 50% of it. Um, and hey, taxes are taxes. That's a whole other discussion.
That's a whole other
Taxes,
documentary too.
it's a whole other documentary. They're supposed to go towards, services in the community and your healthcare and, you know, your retirement and stuff like that. I hope taxes get used responsibly because if we're going to actually be playing in this other dimension, this crypto dimension, uh, they're going to be taxing it in the future. This crypto dimension is here to stay. It's not
Okay,
going away.
I have and one of the people in the audience saying this whole conversation is making them feel poor. So, all right, so here's the deal, Darcy, and just work with me on this as a visionary.
Sure, man.
Let's say that the cryptocurrency is complete. In other words, the transition is complete. We have
Hmm.
now moved over to digital currency.
Hmm.
Millions didn't buy any. Okay, they didn't buy it. We done moved over to it. The value of it has no more value because it is what it is. So ain't nobody buying and selling the new currency because it's now is same as it is with fiat. The dollar to Satoshi is worth the Satoshi, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So at what point when does this happen? You get what I'm saying? Because it's
Yeah.
not so much a supply and demand no more. It is now the currency. So no one is putting fiat money in it, raising no more value to it because
Yeah.
we have now switched to it completely. And
So
now, you know what I mean?
it's still very early days. If you look at it this way, there's about $1 trillion worth of fiat currency invested in crypto.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The gold market is 9 trillion. The fiat market, like the amount of dollars that are out there is like hundreds of trillions. All right. So we're talking about a grain of sand in an ocean right now.
Okay.
So if you're
And then
getting
and
in,
then they can just make something up. We're gonna have a Roderick coin tomorrow.
nah, but now you're
You know
talking
what I'm
about
saying?
altcoins, and
Oh,
altcoins,
that's different. I'm glad.
altcoins are different. Bitcoin is the king. This is the one
Altcoins are
that
different. Okay. I
this
didn't
one
know that.
has altcoins like Darce coin or Roderick coin. Some, people call them,
The dog coin that your
yeah, the
video. Let me see
Doge
a video on
coin.
this.
These are alternative crypto coins, and they have their own monetary system. They have their own programming, their own rules, and they have their own supply. And Dogecoin has a very vast supply. Therefore, it's worth, pennies. It's not worth a full dollar. It's because they've already printed it like trillions, billions of these coins. Bitcoin is only 18 million, and as more people buy it, the value of it goes up because there's only 18 million Bitcoin available in the
It
market.
started out with 21 million, but now I've lost some because I know I had one somewhere on some paper. At that time, they used to tell us to keep it on a sheet of paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we used to, and I think I lost it. I had a couple of them. You just print up your little thing on a piece of paper and just put it in your drawer. That's your Bitcoin.
And,
Before they start making the digital wallets,
and like, look,
Right.
there's innovation happening all the time in this dimension, as we were speaking about before. And so the innovation eventually will come to a point where people will be able to have their custody backed up. And if they lose the key, I'm sure there's going to be a solution there where you can still redeem what you had lost the password for, or the sheet of paper or something. There's going to be some kind of fail-safe system in the future. There's people saying, "Hey, quantum computers can hack a Bitcoin in the future, possibly." That would be the thing that could crack it. But there's cybersecurity companies that are
Okay.
building quantum
So somebody's working on
security.
cracking the code because Bitcoin is not an open source technology. The creator is dead,
Hmm.
supposedly.
Yeah.
So, but somebody's trying to get in there. And when they do, can they alter the system now that they are in the system?
People are predicting that quantum computers can, but quantum computers are not cheap. They're kind of like the early day computers that we use now, the standard.
But then you
They're
just said it. The rich can still be rich because they got the money to produce this robust computer that's hacking at this thing 24/7, 12, 365 plus OT, and they got the billions to put behind
maybe, but
it.
they need a quantum hacker, and there's no such thing as quantum programmers or hackers right now. They're still building the computers. There's quantum programmers, but they have to get somebody that's going to hack, that's going to work on hacking the algorithm of Bitcoin, and there's no one doing that. And there's actually security companies out there working on providing quantum security on the Bitcoin network. So if you're thinking about doing something, there's already innovation happening
Mm,
on the Bitcoin technology. So that's a great thing. You can't, you know, uh, the other thing is, eventually, right now, there's a lot of instability in the value of Bitcoin and these other cryptocurrencies, but Bitcoin will eventually stabilize when the masses come over, when those trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions, once a lot of that liquidity is soaked up into Bitcoin, it's not going to be going like up like this and down like this. And
it's
it's
just gonna be,
just,
it's gonna
it's going to,
flatline.
it's going to stabilize.
That's what I
And
meant by earlier. Yeah.
and at that point too, you're going to look at retailers, companies like Amazon, or uh, you know eBay or what have you, starting to accept transactions in cryptocurrency, in Bitcoin or something else. So that's what's coming, in my opinion. And, people will see it start to unfold as the years go by. Fiat currency is not going to disappear overnight. It's going
Mm,
to take time for that to devalue more and more. And people are going to start transferring their money. And this whole metaverse thing that people have been talking about, that is being built on blockchain technology. That's being built on the same sort of technology that Bitcoin employs. And so you're going to see people working and living also in the metaverse, and they're going to be transacting in blockchain and using blockchain currencies.
man, I'm just kind of like, oh my God. You woke up a whole lot of things. So it is at the top of the hour. I want to play our video for the truth seekers. There's a couple of questions we'll come back to. Margaret want to know, what stops the Bitcoin from losing its value? Then there's a couple other questions. So we'll let you tackle that when we come back. I'm just going to show a quick video, but if you need to take a break, you can. It's just a quick video thanking the Truth Seekers with our anthem song. And then I'm going to play the video Dog Money, and I'll set that up. I really want to get into that. So let me play this right now to thank our Truth Seekers, and we'll go from there.
Let me ask you a question. Why the big secret? Truth seekers, but really the true leaders. It's time to get the facts from the big secret keepers. UFOs passing by when I look up in the sky. We're out here asking why, but we don't get no reply. We want disclosure, we need the actual facts. They're covering all the tracks, but we're not backing down. It's our time, stay on the grind. Why the big secret's about to blow your mind?
All right, so there you have it. Hang on one second. Let me read. Now you have it, guys. That is thanking the Truth Seekers and those of you who support the channel. We have a few other people on that list. And again, we do a lot here. And so for $5 or Satoshis, I'm going to say Satoshi. We don't have a Bitcoin wallet yet, but we're going to get one. But anyway, for $5, 16 cents today. 16 cents. How many Satoshis is that? I don't know. So I'm not going to ask you about that, Darcy. But at the end of the day, I just want to thank each and every one of you for supporting the channel. And we're going to get into the second part or another segment of the show. Now, a video that I'm about to play for you guys is in his documentary, and it's about a couple of minutes, but it is hilarious. I just think it's really good. It's just more of a story, and he can explain to you the video itself. But it also, Darcy, when I got to that part of the documentary, when this video is played, it's almost like a humorous point, though, when the guy says you're going broke, whoever's accountant. He said, well, what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to put my money in dog money. In other words, we're just making some sugar honey iced tea up. So if they doing it, I'm doing it. I'm going to get rich, just like the government, just making some stuff up. So it's an altcoin. It's not Bitcoin, So I just now know the difference. And so all of these altcoins have no, what's the word? They have no ecosystem for them. Some of them don't seem like they have a use. They come up with a white paper and say, okay, we're going to use this for this, and that's it. So I'm gonna play the video. He talking about XNO to the moon. That's Nick Larson giving a super chat. I appreciate it. Let me make sure I can find it in the screen. Throw it up, pop it up. All right, there we go. So we got a Satoshi amount of money today, $1.99 and 5. Okay, so we're doing it. We're on our way to the top. So I'll be playing at Joe's and Wheezy. So anyway, I'm gonna show y'all a video that has come from his documentary. Before I set this up, Darcy, can I explain why you put this video in there? What was the concept behind it? Because I thought it was hilarious. Okay, so let's set it up before we play it.
Yeah. So the whole point of this video is to illustrate the section of the documentary, because the documentary works in chapters. We do Bitcoin and blockchain in chapter 1 to explain that kind of idea. We go to chapter 2 and discuss the history of currency, how we've used different currencies around the world throughout history. And then chapter 3, we go into, what are these other altcoins? And one of these meme coins is Dogecoin. There's also Shiba Inu coin. They're both based off of the little Shiba Inu dog, right? And these cryptocurrencies were new money systems. They are ecosystems, by the way. Both Shiba Inu and Dogecoin have many, many users, millions of users. So people that believe or perceive it to be worth, eventually more one day. The problem with these cryptocurrencies, though, is that they're not short in supply. I like Bitcoin because it actually is short in supply. It has a monetary system that's usable, a P2P money system. If you have a digital wallet, you can send and transact on it. The Lightning Network is really fast. Dogecoin is trying to do the same sort of, it's trying to answer the same problem. It's trying to replace the US dollar with a Dogecoin. And I'm not convinced that it's going to be worth that much in the future. Elon Musk got behind it and he started championing it. He allows people to transact with Dogecoin at the Tesla gift shop at their online store, but they can't buy a Tesla with it. Um, but
Okay.
the fact that you can even transact with that Dogecoin is a testament that people are trying to use a different money system than the US dollar and other fiat currency systems. And that's powerful in itself. This music video is making fun of the fact that
Okay.
our leaders are not money managing properly, and they're actually destroying the value of fiat currency as we speak by doing certain things, printing money to bail out the economy and all this stuff. Look, the bailout is helping people like you and I and small businesses and stuff, but in the end, they're still printing money to solve a problem. And in a free market capitalist society, you can't just save everybody. Some people have to lose. And Bitcoin and some of these other digital currencies are free market capitalist systems, but in a new blockchain technology. And so this guy, Remy, makes a very clever rap and makes fun of how the dollar is getting doomed and the economy is getting doomed. And people are turning to these cryptocurrencies to supposedly answer that doom because they think that's how they're going to protect their value. And that's what this whole conversation is about, Roderick. We're trying to, protect the value of what we do in work with maybe a different money.
Well, it appears to me that the mindset behind an altcoin is a little different than an investment of Bitcoin, because you see people all the time, and I think it may have been in your video where your documentary, where some of them's like, I just needed to get to a penny because they can make billions of these things. So a penny makes a difference. They're not saying, oh, someday it's going to be worth. It's not like any of them is thinking, except for Ether, Ethereum, and Bitcoin. Some of those has been
Yeah.
around. Not, their logic is not trying to get $20,000 worth of this. They're just trying to get 2 cents and get out.
Yeah,
Right.
it's an
You know what I
investment
mean?
strategy. And
Yeah.
like Bitcoin and Ethereum, some of these other tried, tested, and true technologies where there's a lot of things being built onto it and it
Mhm.
has applicable uses, that is, it has utility and therefore it's something that probably will be worth something more in the future, but people are using it for something, right? They're actually
Yeah. Has a utility.
answering they're answering a problem, right, on this digital ecosystem. Whereas like Dogecoin and stuff, it's trying to do that, but um, most of the people that are flocking into it are trying to become rich quick, and it's hard to become rich quick. That often doesn't happen. It's very seldom do you hear about people being a success in that. You're lucky if you do sometimes. And yeah, VeChain
What do you
and
think about that?
Cardano are a few examples of altcoins with use and utilities. Meme coins, aka Dogecoin, and similar are garbage. I think he's trying to say. Also, DeFi, decentralized finance, is the future. I would agree for the most part. I think Cardano and VeChain are smart contract networks that have actual applicable uses, and there's innovation happening on those smart contract networks that will lead to new digital economies. Um, you know, Africa. There's different African nations that are looking to adopt Cardano. VeChain is being used for logistics purposes, tracking. It's also doing DeFi. So is Cardano, decentralized finance, where people can invest and, you know, people can lose money in this too. But we talk about VET actually in the documentary because I think it's an interesting technology. And so there's a chapter where we talk about smart contracts and we compare like, all these smart contracts to Ethereum, which is like the king of the smart
Yeah.
contract network, right? where a lot of developers have been building gaming. Decentralized finance gaming is happening with Axie Infinity and all these other crypto gaming sort of platforms are starting up, and people are transacting in crypto and playing in crypto with these NFT characters, non-fungible token characters that are tradable and go up in value, and you can sell them, buy them, sell them, use them in battle systems, and win other cryptocurrencies. And then with that cryptocurrency, so it's this whole ecosystem that's being formed, this whole financial ecosystem that you can play and work in. And with Axie Infinity during COVID in the Philippines, people were literally going to work by playing Axie all day.
Yeah, I
And
saw that, and I think it was either in your documentary too, where people were playing the game to earn income, and then someone came up with the idea to finance the gamer to make money with them, and it's like,
yeah, it's a whole new digital economy.
yeah, I'm like,
And so
wow, yeah,
So that's just like the tip of the iceberg, and you're going to see like all these AAA games coming out in the future that have that digital economy. You're going to be able to go battle online, and you'll get paid in crypto, and you can use that crypto in your digital wallet to go buy stuff
well,
online.
does that sound almost like somebody's getting ready to start their own gaming franchise and picking the best players, and I'm going to finance you because you went in, and it's almost like you're my racehorse. You know what I'm saying? You're making me money. I'm gonna make you money. You make me money, and I'll get you in the game to do
Yeah,
this.
it's already something that's been happening without crypto, but it's going to advance in that space because crypto is like, a new scarce digital currency system, and it's decentralized. And
Wow.
that's one of the big things, is that the banks and these other uh, you know mainstream centralized monetary systems can't really like get in there and mess with this innovation.
All right, so I'm going to bring up this video. I think it's a couple of minutes. It's worth it. You guys gonna love it. I done watched it 4 times. The rap is good. The music is good. The humor is hilarious. The whole meaning of it, and it's just one of these things. You think about the rich person or somebody saying, "Well, this guy, yeah, this is not right. Throw out, you're not making them." Well, you know what? Invest it all into this dog money and whatever. And I just thought it was funny. In the meantime, if you're listening to us in Clubhouse, if you want to come up into the YouTube live, there is a pinned link there. I have not been asking y'all to smash the like button. Y'all know I normally say that. So if you have not done it, we're at 20 something. Let's get this to 50 tonight. We got about another 45 minutes here with Darcy and maybe a little less. So let's smash the like button. So we'll not only show our appreciation of the knowledge that you're getting, the big secret stuff, but at the meantime, for the YouTube algorithm as well. If you got a question, now will be the time to post it while this video is playing, and that way I'll see it at front and center. And those of you who want yours to stand out and to really be heard, super chat that bad boy. But in a minute, because I don't accept crypto right now, and I should. All right, so I'm gonna bring this video up. Let me get it out of my system here, and we're going to go. Here we go. So let me bring it into so we can play this thing. There we go.
Coming up, bad news for savers is even though high-interest savings accounts are seeing their money disappear thanks to inflation. But first, we'll detail every possible thing you could do. He's a rational investor, give the damn gesture, save some of his paycheck just like all his ancestors. Him looking for high yields, that's never the case. He's seeking 6% return, slow and steady wins the race. But when he checks his accounts just to see what they're fielding, it's like driving in Maryland, ain't nobody yielding. What is he to do? He shouldn't be in a drought, so he visits his advisor just to sort it all out. Inflation's higher than your bond rate, that's what I was fearing. So your savings account is slowly disappearing and your CDs are pointless. That's not very funny. What would you like me to do? Put it all in dog money. Dog money, dog money, dog money, dog money. I'm trading it in for dog money, dog money, dog money, dog money, dog money. I'm putting it all in dog money. My 401k is now a 401k9. sold my IRA and bought an NFT of one. All in on Doge, I dish them out like a Tommy gun. You think I was statehood the way I'm passing on Washington? I feel like Matt Gates, you know what I mean? Assuring everybody it's above 18. It's a modern day gold rush, the prices will boom. Like Reggie White versus the orders, I'm headed straight to the moon. My broker's calling, you know that it's on. Buy dog money, don't stop till it's dawn. One more airbase, 2 more museums, 3 more walls, 4 more Supremes, 5 more stadiums. We're all out of fiat. Can you take trillions of these and go and make a zero? We pay our debts in our currency that might be unfurled if it's no longer the reserve currency of the world. Confidence in the dollar is permanent. Just ask any scholar. People are exchanging their dollars for dog money. Dog money? Dog money. Dog money. We're trading it in for dog money. Dog money. Dog money. Dog money. Dog money. I'm putting it all in dog money.
Oh my God. That is
That's
so funny, man. And
pretty brilliant.
the audience love it too. The dog money, dog money. It's like, just put your money, just put it in altcoin. If you just want to make some money, just put it out there. Just do it. It kind of reminds me, and hopefully I don't get in trouble for this, but when I was growing up, I was an athlete, and my coach used to sit around and he used to tell us, he said, look, y'all, he says, if all fails, he was like, just letting y'all know, if y'all fearing that you're not going to be able to make it in life, he said, if all fails, go into ministry. You always can make some money, right?
Mhm.
To tell us that. So I'm thinking that when I see this video, I'm laughing like, okay, if you about to lose it all, just go put it in one of these altcoin, put everything in some dog money. You about to come up like the mob,
Mm.
And I just thought that was so funny. And, and when you see the part of the video, when he talk about his financial report was called, it talk about less our food, on the phone, the contact. So anyway, I know you put that into the film and everything. So why did you use that? And I thought that was just so funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's just to illustrate the fact that people are trying to put their money, their hard worked, value out there that's in fiat into something else that might be worth something more in the future. And people were quite convinced that Dogecoin, they had Elon Musk trumpeting the quality of it and all these other folks saying, hey, this is going to be worth, so much more and you should invest in it now. And a lot of this frenzy investing was happening in the altcoin market, and that's hurt people. I mean, I believe that people have to be really, really careful when they're getting into altcoin investments because A, there is no regulation of this stuff right now. If
Mm,
you buy a stock, that's regulated at least, right? They need to report things, all that type of stuff. These essentially what you're investing in when you buy an altcoin is a security. You're investing in a portion of a company and their worth. And all these altcoins are just like new startups, new companies that are starting up and they're launching these coins to fund their projects, to fund their ecosystem. And so you could be funding an ecosystem that could crash. You
mm.
could be funding an ecosystem that isn't well developed and maybe in some cases we've seen the developers themselves steal the money and just run away and
That's what
disappear.
I was saying. It looks like that's the plan. Let's just
Yeah,
get this thing up and boom, it's out of there.
yeah. And that's called a rug pull, right? And so we don't want that. And with Bitcoin, it's not a rug pull. It's not a cryptocurrency that's going to disappear. It's a new monetary system.
Mm.
And people, bigger people than you and I, are putting their money into it. Over time, more and more is going to go into it. So it might be something worth holding some of your money in, not all of it, but to dollar cost average. And this is not financial advice. I'm just educating people that this might be something in the future that's worth holding.
What do you think about this comment here?
Is set to come into effect in the EU next year, could boost adoption but defeat the promise of a decentralized alternative to fiat. So Regulation is good. I heard that the EU had passed this. I think like Bitcoin is fully decentralized. And you can't you can regulate it to a certain amount, like you can tax people that use it in your country, but you can't thwart the use of it because it is a technology and it's not run by anybody. It's autonomously run. It runs on its own code. So laws like this are good for protecting early investors in some of these altcoins that are, run by nefarious folks that are going to try and rug pull and stuff. This type of um, legal framework is going to be out there to protect investors and go after the guys eventually that are trying to do these rug pulls and stuff. So I think this is good. If you look at the internet, which we're using right now, when the dot-com bubble collapsed in 2000, a lot of the riffraff, a lot of the nefarious folks that really didn't have a tried, tested, true product got shaken out of the market. And what came out of that as a result was Amazon, Google, Yahoo, Microsoft, like all these big companies that are running the countries and running the world economies today. With crypto, with this crypto industry, we're going to get there. We're going to like shake out the riffraff initially, and the legal framework is eventually going to happen that's going to protect more and more people. And we're going to have crypto that's going to rise to the top, and we're going to have some that fails. And that's just the nature and the law of things in a free market society.
Wow. I mean, it's again, like I said earlier, it just people can say that even in the comment, the great transfer of wealth is in effect. That's from Nunez. And, again, I think we all can say that, but at the same time, there's people who are not born yet, who have no clue about Bitcoin and what's going to be happening. They're going to enter into a society and life that it is now the mainstream, and they're still right back to square one if there's no digital inheritance. But at the same time, we're still going to have assets, property, and land that it still has its extrinsic value versus the economy. And all it takes is just enough people say, or one to say, you know what, I don't need no Bitcoin for my hamburger. If you're hungry, you still got some of that old stuff that's we don't use no more. Yeah, and now it's back in play, and then they're gonna move it all the way back, to move the money back again to say, okay, let's put this, because all it takes is two people. A bone is this pen, it could be a bone, and a bone is just a bone, and to two lions says one of them got to have it. Now it changed his whole value. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that's something that is going to be getting into real quickly as well. Like I said, we got about another 15 or 20 minutes with you. I'm going to discuss a little bit real quickly up and coming some of your other films and documentaries. And like I said, we let the audience kind of look at it. So he has one is Who Saw the Men in Black? You got the Secret Space UFOs. We got Secret Space UFOs. That's two. One in the beginning, so there's two different ones. The TR3B. We
Yep.
got Humanoids. We got Crop Circles, which that's always something mystical for me. You got a couple of them on Sasquatch. Then the Underground, which caught my attention the other day, but I've already just started watching The Men in Black, and it's already, man, you do some great work, by the way. Great work.
Thank you, man.
And I'm just proud to know you now. But here's the thing about it. Seem like all these things, did you just transfer it all these to Tubi now? Because it's like 2021, 2020. Are they just getting your content or
Well, some of those films like The Unwanted Sasquatch that you were watching there, I started shooting that in 2015, and the first cut of it I had released in 2016 on
Mhm.
Amazon Prime, and now it's a director's cut. It has some more content, it's more mastered. You can watch it in 5.1 surround sound and stuff like that other platforms. Tubi, I think, is just stereo. But yeah, like a lot of these films are finding their way. This one's been on Tubi for the Sasquatch one has been on Tubi for I think 2 years now. But Rise of the TR3B, the Secret Space UFOs in the beginning, they just got added, I think, in the past 2 months. So more and more of my films are getting out on different platforms as time goes by. And yeah, I'm putting together stories on subjects that I've been fascinated for a long time, as you have too, Roderick. Like the whole question: Are we alone in the universe?
Yep.
Are we being visited? And has that been covered up? These are all very important questions. It's very existential. You know, um, it really throws into question: Are we unique? And we are unique. We're beautiful creatures, I'd say, but there could be other life out there that's trying to interact with us, and there could be all kinds of things happening around the
I mean,
planet that are really interesting.
invested you have invested money into the phenomena. You done all these documentary, but you use the word could be. I mean, are you not convinced yet that there is ET phone home? You know what I'm saying? By now, and you talk
Yeah,
to the experts, you sat down with them, you point the cameras on them, you talk to the
yeah,
witnesses, so you'll be just as bona fide as in the congressional hearing. If we needed to bring somebody up, hey, let's bring Darcy Weir into the congressional hearing. He doesn't talk to some of these people.
yeah.
And then I have a Sasquatch question that always linger at me, and we'll get back
We'll
on
get
it.
back to that. Yeah,
And I also want you to, in a minute, explain NFTs,
sure.
how to associate that. So let's go with my first Sasquatch theory, and then we'll come back to your question. When I hear all these stories of Sasquatch, and you hear them talk about what's this, what they got this stench, or they have this, you know, the track stops in the middle of nowhere, or there's some type of light that they disappear that could be interdimensional, or there's some spacecraft UFO sightings is intimate within that sector. I started thinking myself, this is my own opinion. I was like, you know what if Sasquatch was a pet for the extraterrestrial? Like, we have a dog, we let it out to use the bathroom. That's why, and if you were downwind of my big German Shepherd, you're gonna smell it. Okay. And if you was tracking it, it disappears. So if you imagine sitting out in the neighborhood or somewhere where it's just totally dark, and you let this thing out, the dog out, you from a distance, you can just see light, and you're going to see a shadow of this creature walks out, and then when it comes back in, it disappears. Now, we know the spacecraft could be cloaked or they don't flew away, but just like we let our pets out to relieve themselves or get some exercise, because I don't see Bigfoot using a cell phone and all that. So although it has intelligent, my German Shepherd has intelligent. He really could. He can bring the leash whenever he wanted to get walked, right? So am I all base thinking Bigfoot could be a Sasquatch or Yeti, could be a pet?
Or like the Predator has a Predadog type.
There we go. There we go.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Well, look, my thesis in the two documentaries that I produced in the Sasquatch research field,
Hmm.
they go towards the fact that we might have a relic hominid, which is we're hominids, right? We're Homo
Hmm.
sapiens. We're just like a greater ape that uses more of our brain and can communicate better. And we have less hair, but
Hmm.
we have some hair. Um, but we're hominids. And we have a historical fossil record of many other hominids that have existed on this planet, even at the same time that we did. And one of those hominids is the Gigantopithecus. We found its remains and teeth, and its cone-shaped sagittal crest skull,
Hmm.
and their feet and hands in cave systems and stuff in the Himalayas and all throughout Asia. And we know, based on carbon dating and stuff, that the Gigantopithecus, which basically looks, if they reconstruct it, uh, it looks exactly like a Sasquatch. It's an upright ape, a large bipedal gorilla-looking thing that could have stood anywhere between 8 to 10 feet tall. Very muscular. It had teeth for chewing foliage and meat. It could have been an omnivore. Um, but these creatures did exist in the fossil record, and the Gigantopithecus walked this earth up to 200,000 years ago. And even before that, probably 300,000 years ago. And the first humans, the first modern humans, Homo sapiens, showed up on this planet 300,000 years ago, let's say, give or take. And the more modern ones that look and sound like us, and we haven't changed that much since about 250,000 years ago, 220,000 years ago. So
Okay.
that means that we were running into them, probably killing them, or they were killing us at one point. And we also have gigantic. We also have Australopithecus, which is a much older sort of ape-like man, and we have all these other ape-like men. And the theory is that Sasquatch is a tribe, a scarce number of these relic hominids that are still alive but living in deep wilderness. Um, I have heard of UFO sightings that have happened in congruence with sightings of what people describe as Bigfoot or Sasquatch. They're the same thing, just a different name. Um, Sasquatch comes from Canada and Bigfoot comes from the United States. That's the
And
names
where's the
do.
Yeti come from?
Yeti comes from the Himalayas. It's actually like a Asia name, and actually, I cover that in the second documentary called "Sasquatch Among Wild Men." Yeti is also a blanket term used in Russia for their wild men, because they have a long history going throughout the ages of seeing these relic hominid type men as well in their culture. Um, so there's something there. When there's smoke, there's fire. When so many people see the same thing, there has to be the existence of something at the end of that trail. And the clues are out there. We have all kinds of hair samples that have been collected throughout history. We have footprint and casts that have been made from those footprints that show the signs of a real working foot that's much larger than a human being's. It's 18 18 to 20 inches in length and maybe 6 to 8 inches in width. Sometimes, just crazy sizes. And what we're looking at maybe is a relic hominid, something that's existed on this planet for longer than us, and we killed them off because we were the successful hominid that took over the planet. And the UFO sighting thing that you mentioned before, are there these like pet Sasquatch? Look, I don't know. I haven't really looked into that question as much, but I will tell you that when UFO sightings happen at the same time that people have had these Bigfoot sightings, it's very possible that we might be looking at a hairy occupant to the craft. You know, we are, a hairless,
Well,
more hairless
Chewbacca, Chewbacca,
Yeah, it could. Hey, I don't know. Maybe there's something there. Maybe we're looking at a hairy alien. Maybe we're not. Maybe it is something that got off the craft. You're right. And at the same time, maybe the occupants of these UFO craft are interested in us, and they watch us and they visit this planet, and they're also interested in the other terrestrials. Maybe they're looking at sea life. That's why
mm,
they're going to sometimes the oceans. Maybe they're looking at something like a Sasquatch walking in the forest and they're like, look at this thing. It still exists. It's been around on the planet for a long time. And so are these humans. Let's look at them both.
yeah, maybe my wife wanted one all the time. Oh, that's a cute, hairy something. Let's take it back with us, because nobody wants these humans. I don't know. So,
Who
all right,
knows?
so we'll get
Abduct
back.
them.
All right, so we got about another 15 minutes. You okay with that?
Sure, brother.
All right, so, or actually, we go to the top of the hour, but let's get back into the connection between NFTs, which seem to be a new hot thing now.
Hmm.
Okay, people are doing it, and what is that connection to Bitcoin or altcoin, or is that now the new investment? How could that be used?
Mhm.
Even myself, if I wanted to create a NFT for
Mhm.
this channel to
Yeah.
uh, to raise support, to better improve what I do, is that
Mhm.
possible? And
Sure.
give me some ideas too on what you would think I should do. Y'all are listening, so y'all hearing it from the ground floor. If we come up with something right now for Why the Big Secret NFT, y'all
Mhm.
hearing about it for anyone else in like the Bitcoin thing. Or no, not dog money. I'm gonna do my own song. Why money? Why money? Why money? Get into the big why big secret money. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I dig
Why
it.
money? Why money? Yeah.
All
So
right. So NFTs, what are NFTs? Let's start with that. Non-fungible tokens.
okay.
So a non-fungible token is a way for content creators like yourself or myself even
Hmm.
to digitize their content and sell it on a blockchain network with your own digital rights management. So let's look at Apple, for example, right? They popularized DRM, so digital rights management. They invented iTunes, and folks started going to their phones or their iPhones or iPads or their um, iPods, if they still have them, and they started downloading music to their iTunes library, which then links to their phone, and you hold the rights to that digital music on that device, right? And you've
Okay.
purchased that. Now, with a non fungible token, I'll relate that to the same sort of digital rights management. If you, Roderick, created your own song and made it into an NFT and linked a piece of art to that, right? Let's call it
Like our
a
Truth Seekers theme song.
sure. And then you put like you got an artist to create a one of a kind digital art, illustrate some art that goes with that song. What happens is you create your own rights management to that art, and encoded in that NFT, that blockchain open ledger, is the creator, Roderick Martin, when it was created, the date that it was created, um, how many of those NFTs are out there to be purchased in the wild. Maybe they're a limited amount, they're a collector's amount, so 10 or 5 or just one, right? Sometimes there can only be one. And basically, you've encoded that information in and you set the value. And what happens then, just like Bitcoin, supply and demand. You have a certain supply of it out there, and people come in and they want to buy it. And when they buy it, that demand drives the value up. So then what happens, which is cool for content creators, you know, when you make a song, you sell it on iTunes, you get your cut, iTunes takes their percentage, right? And even on YouTube, you get a super chat, you get your cut, YouTube gets their cut, right?
Okay.
So with this NFT, you can set into the rules of that rights management from the very onset when you encode that art. You can say, I'm going to make 5 of these, I'm going to own it, but I'm going to sell it. And when you buy it, you're going to own it. But every time you sell it after, I'm going to make 25% of every sale. So the original
But it's only
content,
5 of them though, so only 5 people could be buying this, or
5 people can be
like a
selling,
Satoshi, it breaks down.
5 people could be selling your art, let's say. And then when other people buy it, every time that transaction goes through, you can encode into your NFT rules that you get 25% of every sale down the road. So if that piece of art that there's only 5 gets exchanged to 100 different owners in the future or 1,000 different owners, you're going to get a cut of those 1,000 transactions. So the NFT market started booming recently because these scarce art assets were being created. The board apes yacht club or the crypto punks, these certain amount of pieces of digital art, and they were being bought and sold, and the content creators were getting a cut, and the value, the demand of it was going up because people were flocking in to buy and sell it. Non-fungible tokens are also used, as I said, in Axie Infinity, which is this new sort of Pokemon game that you can play online. You transact in Smooth Love Potion, which is a new cryptocurrency, and Axie token. And that whole digital economy happens, and people are buying and selling the little characters that you fight with in these Pokemon style battles.
Mhm.
They're buying and selling those Pokemon type things, which are called Axies, on the Axie marketplace. And they're selling for hundreds, thousands of dollars, depending on how rare they are, these characters. And you can breed them. And every time you breed them, they get certain attributes, they become rarer, and so on and so forth. So it's a whole digital economy that's coming out of this new Internet 3.0 on the blockchain technology. And non fungible tokens are ways that content creators are able to create their new ecosystems that they can bring fans to, that can interact in this new marketplace, and they can play and adventure in. And another content creator that's very famous, you may know of, Kevin Smith. The director Kevin Smith. He made like Mallrats and Dogma, those
Okay.
movies.
I didn't know who he was, but I know the movies.
Yeah. So this guy, Kevin Smith, he's a funny guy. He's done like stand-up comedy, Eat an Evening with Kevin Smith. He's created his new NFT project. His next film is going to launch as an NFT. You're going to go watch it on this NFT marketplace. And then he's going to allow other people that are inside that ecosystem that have bought the film to create their own follow-up sequel films. So it's going to be a decentralized content creation marketplace where the fans themselves can take part in the creation of the sequel films. So it's pretty cool. You can't do that with a standard film or standard piece of art that we use today. It's a one-sided transaction. You buy, you observe, and you kind of just leave it there, and you're like, oh, that was an interesting experience.
Okay.
Whereas the NFT marketplaces, you can play, you can um, buy, sell, and adventure in these new ecosystems, and they are most of the time metaverses.
Now, do they have to be music and art? Could it be a video? Could it be
Yeah, of
like one of your
course.
documentaries is a NFT and then it just
Yeah.
it'll be behind a wall where they don't watch it unless they own it or
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You're creating, like, instead of, going to this big Hollywood studio and that Kevin Smith could go to and saying, I want you to create this film with me, but you own the film and you're just hiring me as a director or something, and writer. Um, he's essentially creating his own studio and launching his NFT to have its own marketplace, and he's not beholden to these centralized studio gods that get to say yay or nay about his creative vision. And
hmm,
the community is now taking part in his idea. The community is taking part in the future creative vision, which the studios don't let the community, the watchers, the reviewers, the people like you and I that go and watch a Marvel film, they're not actually creating the sequels in this NFT film project that Kevin Smith is launching. That opportunity is there.
wow. It just sounds interesting of, even for myself as I want to put something together for Why the Big Secret and truly go down in this. And one of the things in my audience probably again wondering, how do we get to this conversation? And I have never asked them, and they can hear about it now. But when I created Why the Big Secret, it was to cast a bigger net when it comes down to this content of the paranormal or whatever. Even go into the world of conspiracies, things that happen, but we want to know why. We want to know why it happened today, but why is it still a big secret? And I've been really trying to be challenged of how to cover those type topics, as well as continue my baseline of ufology and different things, because I think all of that applies. But at the same time, how do you raise the funding to take the ideas that I have, oh, right out past this live stream into the streets? I got a lot of ideas when it comes down to UFOs, different things I want to do that I think will work pretty well. Um,
Hey, look, I think you have a platform here. You have people that love you. You have, folks that want to see you grow. And, if you create a cool NFT project that they can be a part of that ecosystem and they can grow with it, that's the way of the future. And Billy Carson and all these other folks that you're jabbing with and that like you understand are
mhm.
growing their networks and such. They're probably going to be doing NFT projects as well in the future. A lot of folks are getting into NFTs. I'll keep in
Yeah.
mind that some of these NFTs are just JPEGs, they're digital pictures that an
Okay.
artist has created. And the challenge is to create something that is unique and an experience and something that people want to pass on and want to continue to use. So if you create something that allows people to do that in an NFT space as an NFT, I mean, you could do really well. You could do really well.
Well, audience, put in a chat. What do y'all think if I create a NFT for our community? What would it be, or would you support it? And then we really put something out there, because I got a couple other projects and things that I'm going to be in, Darcy. And I think overall we're already experiencing a lot of growth with this channel. I have done a lot of research and saying, okay, wait a minute. Some UFO channels are, they may have 10,000, 12,000. Some got 50. I never seen the million subscribers. I think Secure Team 10, because they post little videos, but more of a commentary style. But with Why the Big Secret, I want to bring some good stuff to the people, but at the same time, like I said before, we got a couple of people here say interesting. I really would love some merch. Okay, all right. So somebody said they'll take some merch, and somebody said with a paywall. Okay, all the good things. Get off YouTube and create your own content on your own website. Is what someone says. Okay, then but we still got to drive people to it. I got to get y'all to share. Tonight we do a little thing, but I know it was off topic a little bit, but still there are some big things that I think we learned from this. And now, like I said, I want to get you back to in the future one day, because we definitely want to talk about all of some of the different shows that you have, because I really want to cover that. Stephanie said, what kind of NFT? An alien, of course. All right. Well, that'll be good too. Uh, all that good stuff. I don't know. Whatever ideas y'all have, I just want to make sure y'all support it. Right, Darcy? So if y'all got
Yeah,
any questions for Darcy, now be the time. We got about 5 or 6 minutes with them, and then I'll end the show. But Darcy, I want you to hang on a minute behind the scenes. I got a question.
cool.
But
Sure.
so if y'all got any more questions for him, now is the time. If you're in Clubhouse, I'm gonna turn on the chat right now. So if you got a question, I know some of you have been listening the whole time, and that'll give you an opportunity to, if you have a question. So the chat is on in Clubhouse. If you're watching us on Twitter right now or any other places in the future, definitely do that. We do it. Working on it now, Darcy. Oh, so someone says, Darcy, what are you working on now?
Yeah. So I'm working on a follow-up documentary in my Secret Space UFOs series. And this documentary is titled NASA's First Missions. And we're just doing like a deep dive on how NASA, started with their space missions, getting astronauts designated and pilots going into space. And we talk about the specifics of each mission and what their purpose was to do in space, to test certain technologies, and eventually the long-term plan for NASA, and some of the secrecy, some of the things that the public didn't actually know about. And two of the major things that the public did not know about at the time, which we're very well versed in now, but I wanted to provide proof. In my documentaries, I like to actually provide documents and videos and stuff that show proof to something in this subject that we're analyzing. Um, One of the things that we show is the proof that NASA was always in compliance with the military industrial complex and the militaries of the United States. And that meant that they were keeping things secret and away from the public that may
Mhm.
be seemed a threat or may make people insecure about the country's power. So some of those things that they were classifying under law were UFOs
Okay.
and um, militarizing space, putting weapons and stuff in space. Why? Because it just makes perfect sense that if you're going to be a worldwide mega power, you're going to control space. And when you control space, you usually have to arm space first and have the best weapons and technology out there to have supremacy over the world. So, NASA's first missions is that documentary. It'll come out later this year, and we look into all of the pre Apollo space missions. So, everything that came before Apollo.
So that question is, did the moon landing really happen?
Absolutely, it did.
Okay.
No doubt in my mind. We did land on the moon. We did many successive missions to the moon. But I think they obscured what they really saw up there, what they really did up there sometimes. I think some of the footage we saw was reproduced and doctored, and we have evidence for that. And um, a documentary that will come out after NASA's first missions will be the Apollo missions. And I'm going to do a deep dive on all of the Apollo missions from Apollo 1 right through to 17 and discuss the theories, you know, what did we actually see? What did we actually do up there? And, I'm not a flat earth theorist. I am a ufologist sort of researcher. I believe that there is space and time and a universe out there and endless life possibly, and they are interacting with us. And sometimes, you know, it might be covered up. It's very possible that it's being covered up.
Well, I think, and I do try to use the word possibility as well. I tell people that's because you really don't want to stand on it, but you just tell people, hey, you listen, my job is to give you enough information that you can see, something you could read or hear, to awaken your curiosity to the possibility that we're not alone in this universe. And I just try to stick there. Or I always say your eyes are useless when your mind is blind, because it don't matter what you see if your mind ain't up to it. It doesn't matter. You're not going to believe it. Um, so Darcy, I really, want to thank you for being here. Now, there was a couple other questions. Now, Nunez he turned $30 into 15K. You know what? You need to be emailing me of that one.
Yeah, me too.
Contact at whythebigsecret.com. Now I'm gonna call him out. Email me, and I'm gonna make sure I tell everybody he didn't. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know, I might, but anyway, email me. I want to know that one. Who
Yeah.
doesn't? So he was saying he got into Dogecoin.
Dogecoin. There
Yeah.
you go.
Okay.
But
So
if people want to see my films, I saw a question from, I think it was Stephanie.
mhm.
Yeah, if you want to see my films, Roderick was showing a plate of many different film posters. Those are all available on Tubi TV. That's the platform that you can see those on. TubiTV.com. It's a Fox entertainment platform, and it's free. You don't have to pay a cent to watch these films. You might get hit by an ad, but hey, it's free.
Hey, it's free.
Um, I also have films on Amazon Prime. I have them on iTunes, Google Play, YouTube Red. Appreciate the support. I'm going to keep doing my research and, supporting the community like Roderick is doing.
Hey, I appreciate it, guys. Let me tell you, I'm watching the Men in Black one. Definitely check it out. This guy creativity is off the roof. And there's not oftentimes you watch things that you're learning from what I call infotainment. He actually has infotainment. You learn it and enjoying what you're watching. So I think that's a wonderful thing from there. All right. So Truth Seekers, as y'all should know, we at the top of the hour, we'll be shutting this down. Darcy, like I said, hang on a second when I play we have a 30-second outro video that I play out. And I want to thank each and every one of you, but I need a favor from all of you who are watching. And if you're watching this later on, or if you're listening in Clubhouse, make sure y'all smash the like button right now. Any of you who have not done that. But also my email address is contact@whythebigsecret.com. Today I know was a little different, but I want to know y'all honest opinion. Now y'all been here, so that, hey, those are great people and we got some information, because we're going to cover a wide variety of things. Now, of course, I could have chose a plethora of conversations with him tonight, with all those documentaries from UFO related stuff. So, but we want to help him with this new release. We want to get some comments there on Fox Tubi, if that's possible. Share it, the whole 9 yards, because I think this is something that is really, really interesting and cool for people to know about, especially like myself. I don't have any Bitcoin, but I watched this documentary and it definitely got me interested in saying, wait a minute, something else is there. Steph said, Roderick, you should have him back to dig into one of those films. Well, which one y'all want? Put in a comment right now which film out of ones that y'all see. I'll put it up real quick that y'all think we should have him back to dig into. I'm gonna roll the slide right there now. Y'all look at it. We got Men in Black, Space, Secret Space UFOs, which is 2. We got Humanoids. We got the Sasquatch, a couple of those. Being Taken, that's that. Y'all know we talk about that. Crop circles. Don't worry about the fishing men, because we just don't worry about that one for a reason. But anyway, the rest of them, y'all look at it right now. Let's put it into the chat, a few of you, what interests you the most, and we will get a commitment while we're here. Maybe not the date, but at least know he's coming back. Men in Black. Oh, Men in Black is already 3 up already. So
It's trending, yeah.
and I'm watching that right now. Out of all of them, that was the one I was like, Steph said Humanoids.
Sure.
And Men in Black and Human Arts. There's another one there. All right, keep it coming. Come on, y'all, make it fast. Let's do it. Don't be scared. And somebody else said Men in Black again. So Men in Black seems to be Men in Black. All right, so that seems to be so far the one. And again, if you Human Arts again. All right, I think there's a little loyalty there. They're meant to make sure they all come together. So we may even talk half and half then, but y'all got to watch it first. So that
Totally. We
you
can
can
do that. We can do half and half. Anytime you want to have me on, I'm
yeah,
happy to talk with you, man.
we'll do half and half in there. So, all right, y'all. So y'all know the drill. If you want to support the channel right now, we are recording this. This will be up on the podcast as well, which is in 59 different countries. You know, I'm going to, if you in Clubhouse, definitely go to the podcast in the future. So we'll put this out on the podcast as well. Make sure, again, y'all hit the like button on this channel from there. And so what I'm going to do is take y'all out, and tomorrow is Thursday. Of course, Maria will be back next Wednesday. We'll have these ladies here, the UFO twins, and They'll be here Tuesday night for an interview, and then I have John Russell coming in next week as well. And so you guys get ready for that. So Darcy, I'm gonna give us the outro. You hang on, okay?
Cool, man. Thank you.
All right.